In 1975, English hard rock blues band Stretch released their first of 4 albums, Elastic, on Anchor, and from it, the track Buzz Fly. Love that boingy sound.
Buzz fly, buzz fly, where do you go in summertime? Where do you go when summer's gone? Where do you go when the winter's long?
Wow, quite a ditty right there. Starting with that boingy Jaws harp and then going into that Beefheartian vocal by Dave Terry, accompanied with that bottleneck slide. And then the verses bisected by that plunging riff, really heavy plunge it made, doubled up with those claps. And that's basically it. Yeah. Stretch were a band that came together in the early 1970s, and they originally recorded a single as Legs. Here's the bio on jazzrocksoul.com. Stretch were an English hard rock blues band from London that released 3 albums on Anchor between 1975 and 1977, followed by a 4th on Hot Wax in 1978. Prior to their album run, the band cut a 1973 single as Legs on Warner Brothers and posed as Fleetwood Mac in a touring ruse commanded by Clifford Davis, then manager for both bands. Vocalist Elmer Gantry, a.k.a. David Terry, fronted the psychedelic rock band Velvet Opera during the late 1960s and gigged with jazz rockers Armada during the early 1970s. Guitarist Gregory Kirby was briefly a member of Curved Air, appearing on that band's 1973 album Aircut. Bassist Steve Emery played on the 2 1974 Ross albums, and also played on Danny Kerwin's second solo album. Okay, and so these guys, one of many acts to emerge in 1975 with members with links back to the 1960s. This coming out around the same time as the Armageddon record with Keith Ralph from the Yardbirds and the Moonrider album with Keith West from Tomorrow. Yeah, like all these 60s psych rock frontmen having a second go in the mid-70s. Quite a great time. Let's hear another track from Elastique, Snakes Alive.
Snakes alive, you ain't done nothing since when I did the hand job. Oh well, seems to me you can't do nothing yet. You roll it down from London town, take a look and then turn around. We're the ones trying to make this sound, but you can't do nothing yet. We're tired and cold, ain't got no cold, and we can't get none. Take it or something. me, you can't do nothing yet. Hey man, what you trying to say? Stick it out, I'm gonna make it someday. Till then, gonna make her own way, but you can't do nothing yet. Oh, you ain't got a dime. I get a job and write music in my spare time. One day everything will be fine, but you can't do nothing yet. Well, time ain't cold, I got no gold, and we can't get none to get us sold. Oh, well, seems to me you can't do nothing yet. In my spare time. One day everything will be fine, but you can't do nothing yet. Oh no, snakes alive. You ain't done nothing since Willie did the hand jive. Oh well, seems to me you can't do nothing yet. Well, time ain't cold, I got no gold, and we can't get none to get us sold. Oh well, seems to me you can't do nothing yet.
Was Snakes Alive by Stretch, and yeah, we plunged right into it with this jerky, tight, rhythmic lock over this staccato 2/4 monochordal riff in E with an accented high fifth that in the na 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 na, yeah, the B, accenting the B over the E, and then it goes right into this like octave darting bass line in A, dun, 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 like that underscored this jiving vocal from Dave Terry. Some stuff about Willie and the hand jive. And then that solo section, quite interesting. Kind of spacey, psychedelic solo amid shifting chordal passages, taking us into some different areas there. With sustained wailing leads and gliding bass lines, and then that locked riff returns, hammered by the kick drum hi-hat figure. And sums it up. Yeah, Snakes Alive from the album Elastique, released in 1975, the first of 4 albums by Stretch. Let's hear one more track from the album, Tomorrow's Another Day.
I didn't think that I would care. I didn't know how much it meant to me. Now I go home and she's not there. And all I feel is empty. She was the one thing in my life, but I treated her unkind.
Okay, Tomorrow's Another Day by Stretch, and quite different from the last two tracks. Well, they're all quite different. Yeah, this one, a D major power chord blast starting things off, really fast, brisk. I was about to use the P word, but I'll refrain from that. That Dave Terry comes in and reminds us what this is really about, giving us this like brawny belting, growling through the highs and lows. Invoking Frankie Miller to some degree, and definitely showing himself to be quite in there with those real like kind of masculine soul rock vocalists of the time period. Far chordal sustains that mark the post-chorus crescendos. Good effect, like just slowing down for a moment, withholding the rhythmic thrust just for a moment as we head on into the next storm. Okay, doubled speed and thickness at the midsection, fast, scaly guitar solos, double scaly at the around 240 it was. Yeah, you kind of saw how I took that one in. As we go back into the verses, some clamped hi-hat accents to emphasize the swelling momentum. Yeah, I was hearing that like... And then layered guitars at the fade out, putting on the works toward the end, those high runs and such. Yeah, that was Tomorrow's Another Day, a rather brisk, sped up kind of windmill hard rocker. Before that, Snakes Alive, a rather funky track with some real tight locked grooves in it. And then before that, Buzzfly, real kind of old, like kind of Delta bluesy type number. Yeah, three tracks by Stretch displaying their affinity for rootsy hard rock. On this first album, I was kind of wondering, based on like Buzzfly, I was wondering, is this band like kind of part of the post-male hard rock school, or are they pub rock in a sense? That the difference between pub rock and mid-70s, the difference between bands like pub rock bands like Dr. Feelgood and the Count Bishops, Eddie and the Hot Rods, some of those acts, is that they were trying to harken back to the Alexis Corner school of beat era R&B, like the Stones, the early Pretty Things, the Downliners sect, which was based kind of in the general blues, versus the post-male school of bluesy hard rock, which more specifically zeroed in on the proto-rock aspects of the Chicago electric blues. And by the mid-70s, that school being represented by bands like the Streetwalkers, Backstreet Crawler, Bad Company, of course, and within a few years, bands like Detective, Bandit, and these guys, as it would ultimately prove. Stretch were more in the post-male school than they were in with the pub rock acts. And I think the world's all the better for it. Yeah, I love the diversity and just the maximalist thrust and energy displayed in this music. Yeah, Stretch would release 4 fine albums, this arguably being the best, Elastique from 1975. Yeah, a time when frontmen of the 1960s were making a comeback. Yeah. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Stretch, see the directory of albums by English S artists linked in the description below. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the 3 tracks we just heard. The interplay, the intensity, the chordal riffage, the power, the funkiness in certain places, the heaviness in others, and the vocals of Dave Terry. Yeah, quite an impressive and underrated vocalist there. Yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.